by the way, I reached out to somebody. Early in the show, we talked about Diggs not practicing, stuff like that. And I said, hey, is this something to do with contract? And my guys over there were like, no, don't think so. Just
hanging out.
Just hanging out. So, we'll see next week what happens with the
well, I could understand he's a full, complete corner, nothing more to learn. A guy like Diggs.
Yeah, get Diggs, I'll tell you what. But, by the way, what was that I was watching? Somebody, I think Pro Football Focus had their top 10 corners.
Yep.
And Dallas had 2 of them, though. They had
Gilmore and Cooks both on that list.
Or Diggs. Gilmore and Diggs both on that list.
I'm still living off that Cooks.
I believe you, bro. I'm still on cloud 9.
He was so good.
I'm riding that Brandon Cooks
kite. Thanks again to Joe and thanks to Brandon Cooks for coming on. Those guys do a great job.
And I wouldn't put it past him, Wolchuk. I bet Brandon Cooks would be the second or third best corner on this football team.
I could see him doing it all. He's a jack of all trades.
Give the man a chance.
Does Gilmore still got it like that, Brian?
You know what? I'll tell you what, I watched him last year, against when the Cowboys, he had the interception in the game, and I was thinking, like, man, this guy's not a liability. I mean, this guy you're kind of, because you were a little bit worried, like at Carolina, it just wasn't a good fit for the team.
And he's past the age of
exactly.
prime cornering.
But he's finally healthy. I think that's the biggest thing right now. When you watch him, when he was at Carolina, I don't think he was into it. With the Colts, I think he played a little bit better and he was a little bit healthier. But I think right now this is a great fit for him because he'll go out there. Al Harris, those guys, the coaches over there, I think they do a hell of a job with this secondary. And Joe Witt and those guys. So he'll work hard. He'll be available. He'll play to his level and stuff. So Dallas might have stolen one here. Might have stolen one for a compensatory pick.
I think they stole 2 of them. I think Cooks and Gilmore they stole.
Yeah, I tell you what, too. It was interesting. We're watching. Did you see Bland playing today?
I did.
Did you see Bland? He was playing. It was funny because he was playing outside.
He was.
He's playing outside, so it wasn't on the inside stuff. So they were
down, I think, a few bodies today.
Yeah,
and I think that's why, because we also saw our guy Eric Scott, the rookie corner.
Eric Scott. Okay, talk about Eric Scott today because he was up on the varsity field.
Yeah,
he was one of the few. Schoonmaker last week was the guy that was up on the varsity field getting work with the tight ends, but Schoonmaker's he's a little nicked up right now, so he's not participating. But our young Eric Scott, who they traded a next year's 5th for the opportunity to draft him, and we know a lot about him at Southern Miss.
Yeah,
how he can play on the outside. I feel like he could play a little bit on the inside too. But he got some work with the varsity.
He did. He actually ended up having an interception during the red zone period. They tried to throw it to Peyton Hendershot. He kind of double caught the football.
Kind of bounced up, kind of juggled a little bit.
Yeah. And then Eric Scott was in position, Johnny on the spot. And they're really not breaking on a lot of balls.
Yeah.
From at least the period that
they're letting the receivers catch. They're not really.
Not a lot of contested catches there, but he was able to make a play.
Hendershot, a ball doinked off Hendershot's hands and chest and
resulted
in an interception.
He juggled it. Picked it off. He juggled it, and then Scott picked it off right there. It was kind of like by his being in the right place at the right time thing.
Yeah.
But did I wanted to ask you something today, Eric? You said that Gelkin was talking about in a tweet about how the level of practice is?
Yeah, he said that the tempo is drastically different, I think, and he means like in a slower manner compared to previous OTAs.
Yeah.
Feels like they're doing just a lot of like learning and then laying the groundwork for Oxnard.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like teaching, less competitive, not a bunch of team, like one-on-one.
Now, we have to leave when, like at 12:30 to get to the show or come out here, wherever. So any kind of extra competitive periods that we really don't see, but there is a lot of that teaching stuff that is going on, with that right now. I did see today, though, Mike McCarthy. He's got the walkie-talkie. He's calling plays.
Yeah, McCarthy was standing there next to Schottenheimer.
Yeah, he's standing next to Schottenheimer, but he's got the walkie-talkie. And so he's getting into the rhythm of calling plays. The quarterbacks, they practice without helmets on. The quarterbacks wear their helmets. So they're getting that conversation between McCarthy and the quarterbacks are being worked on right now. Mike getting back into the rhythm of that play calling.
Did that surprise you that he didn't already pawn that responsibility off on Shoddy?
Week 6, I'm kind of thinking maybe.
Yeah,
week
you've
6.
been on that one. I did notice.
I'm just kind of. That's just, to me, it's one of those. I just feel like that maybe this team might be 4-2, 3-3, something like that, and then all of a sudden it's. Well, maybe we need a switch, a little something different, a little jump, a little boost, or, and then all of a sudden, that's just one of these things you talk about in June, kind of like DNAs and things like that. People can make a big deal about it, and go off on it.
Can.
Well, to the learning and the teaching, it's interesting because Dan Quinn is on the other side of the field,
right,
working with the 2s and the 3s, and he's kind of running that practice session on the other side.
Right, he's working with the younger players, and again, maybe this next week when we have the 3 days of the actual mini camp that you'll see the team practice together. And I mean together in a way of Mozzie Smith will be going up against, against Farniak. And, well, we haven't seen Martin didn't practice today.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So it's been, what's really surprising to me is, I kind of looked at this whole thing with Josh Ball has been the starter at right guard. And I felt like that when Josh Ball to me is a guy that they're kind of looking for a position for. But they've plugged him in as the right guard. That Farniak has been the left guard as the starter, and that still means that Tyler Smith, much to my let's keep playing him at left tackle. A lot more today, Zach, though, of Tyron Smith playing right tackle. Not just a couple of plays, but the whole opportunity that we saw. He was the starter at right tackle.
He was, and I'm just fascinated. We saw Steele and Pollard working on the resistance cords, or the umbilical cords, if you will, out there with Britt Brown and Maurer. But I'm just so intrigued. When Steele's ready to go, where do they play him? I mean, is it still Tyron at right tackle? Are they shuffling Steele over there to the left guard? Is that really a real thing? I mean, I'm ready for that. Maybe next week we get that, or maybe it won't happen until training camp.
Yeah, I don't think we'll probably see that till training camp. Okay, on the kicking aspect, Vizcaino, the kicker, he missed 2 today. He had makes from, let me go through the makes, make from 35 in the middle, make from 39 in the middle, make from the left hash at 42, and then he had a miss from 44. He missed it left. It was a low snap. I'll give him that. They couldn't get the ball up really well, and then there was a missed kick. A make from 48, and a make from 51, and then he was short from 55. So he continues to have these practices where we get to watch, and he misses two of the kicks right there. But again, they've been separated. Like I say, the varsity field, the JV field, and then also, like I say, the only guy that was really up working with the varsity guys, it was a young guy, was Eric Scott. So, and then we'll see a little bit more too. There was no Tony Pollard today on
he was working outside.
He was working outside on the court.
Eric Scott, 6-rounder corner.
Yeah.
The corner,
they like him a lot.
They like him a lot.
The perfect build of what Dan Quinn was.
6'1", 197. Yeah,
they'll find DBs.
Could be this year's
Jerome
Bland.
Yeah, absolutely.